Welcome to the Screen Time Continuum. On this Saturday episode, we are coming to you with The Rings of Power. For those of you who are interested in episode 5, we are here to review The Rings of Power, the episode entire partings? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Well, I'll get to that in a moment. Um, yeah, I don't have any quippy things to add, so let's just jump right on into it. What's going on, Nick?
Hey, I'm good, man. How are you?
Can't complain at
I
all.
feel a little. I feel a little off after watching this episode. I'll be honest. I'm not really. I feel like my brain died a little bit. So,
I could
um,
honestly say I might be of the same belief. One of the reasons is I forgot how to introduce you just now.
it's okay. I forget how to say words all the time. It's all good.
For sure, for sure. Um, but yeah, I agree. The title alone for this episode leaves me. Uh, I'll say this: when I watched and I think I said this last episode as well. The introduction video, like the intro to the show with what's that? This vibrational movements of the sand and whatnot.
Hmm.
That is more entertaining than the actual show.
It is. Yeah, it is because it's actual science and cause and effect. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Outside of that, I feel like I've seen that now 5 times straight, and I still don't know what's gonna come next. I damn near know everything that's coming in this show.
Hmm.
It just
Yeah.
feels very mind, or no, that's not the word I'm looking for, but telegraphed. It seems very telegraphed. You see it all coming.
Hmm.
But before we jump off the deep end of just destruction, let's talk about this a little bit. For those who have not yet seen the episode 5 entitled Partings of the Lord of the Rings of Power series that is currently showing on Amazon, by all means, this is your spoiler warning. Yeah, I gave the long end just so you guys kind of understood where I was going with that. Spoiler warning for those who were not ready to get into episode 5 in the happenings, turn back now. But if you've already been there, you know what episode 5 is about, or you're not going to go watch it on Amazon, but you really want to know what we think about it, we appreciate you stick around, and here we go. But as I do all of that and I say all of that, Nick, what is your first impressions of episode 5? I kind of feel like we already kind of dropped that bag, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, this is certainly not it. Episode 5 out of 8 episodes for the first season, and there still has been nothing that's happened. And this episode, again, is an episode where nothing happens. I think the most significant you get is a couple of conversations that move a story maybe a couple centimeters. But at this point, at the end of episode 5, we are just doing nothing. We're spinning our wheels here. It's been 5 hours. Out of the 8 you have for your first season, this is crazy. What is this? I found myself incredibly bored the entire time. There are stupid, characterizations and bad story plots and all of that stuff. So there's a lot to not be happy about. I wanted to like this series, but it's just not giving me anything to like. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, I can get behind that. I think again, as we continue forward, it proves again and again, the more you know about the Lord of the Rings, the more you're gonna dislike this. Um, However, if you don't know that much and you're just trying to keep up with what they have going on here, it's not that interesting. It's just nothing really to attach yourself to. So yeah, I firmly agree with you. Where I think we do differ is that part of that's why I referenced your knowledge of the lore, of the backstory, of what's supposed to be happening after all of this occurs. I think that's the only place where maybe there's still some intrigue for me, because some of those things that I don't know are supposed to tie into something else later that make absolutely no sense right now. At this moment, I'm like, hey, what happens here? Um,
Right.
and yeah,
Uh, yeah,
mhm,
I don't. I mean, like, yeah. If I was judging this just as a piece of content that you consume without any sort of foreknowledge about what's going on, I would still find this very tedious. I think, um, because there's a lot of things that they just keep dangling in your face, and they're not giving you anything to build upon. It would be one thing, like this whole 5 episodes is like, ooh, who's Sauron? Could it be the Stranger? Could it be Halbrand? Could it be this Farazan guy? Like, and everybody, like they just don't give you
Celebrimbor.
any Celebrimbor. They just don't give you anything about, about I don't know. They're just not giving you stuff to add upon. It's either they are throwing you off the scent with a lot of this stranger stuff where they're heavily implying that he's Sauron, which I just don't believe. Or they're doing the thing with Halbrand and his stupid pouch. Like, you've been showing that pouch to us for 5 hours now, and you haven't given us one clue about what it's about. And I don't care.
Right. I'm curious, is it a water pouch or is it a coin purse? Now I'm confused. Um,
Right.
as far as just the what we're getting in information, I'm at a point with the whole Sauron thing. Why?
Why for any of it at this point? Like,
Well,
why
for
is
sure.
that? Yeah, why is Adar such a big deal if he's not Sauron? He's obviously
Mhm.
not Sauron. So,
And apparently doesn't want to be the embodiment of Sauron. I'm confused by
right,
that.
right.
But it's just the entirety of, especially this episode. Like this episode had a lot of information, but it's almost like episode two all over again. A lot of information with no real clarity, right? Um, I caught myself in times during this episode asking questions that I felt like should have been answered already.
Mm,
You know,
mhm.
questions like, "What is it that Elrond like? What would Elrond do when he finds out where Galadriel is, or you know what I mean? Like,
Right,
how is that going to play out? Why don't they know yet?
right. That's a good question. That's a good question.
I assume Numenor would have been sent word,
Or yeah, or something somebody would have found out. I guess I don't know. Maybe not, but yeah, it is funny that they have no idea Galadriel isn't in Valinor.
right?
Yeah.
Um, maybe Galadriel is causing the blight, but we'll get to the blight in a minute. Um, I don't know. I know I'm confused by Adar being in the sun and telling the orcs. Well, no, never mind. I think that might be one of the few things that makes sense. I was confused by him like bathing in the sunlight, but then
Yeah.
his but it'll be gone soon.
Yeah,
Uh,
he's gonna Bill Gates the sun.
it's-
He's gonna blot the sun out, and I think what he's really trying to do is he's trying to perfect the orcs so that they don't need to, or that they don't burn in the sun. But since he can't do that, he's gonna try to block out the sun now. So
I thought it was saying that an age of darkness would cast upon them when they do what they need to for Morgoth. I don't think they believe in Sauron's return. I think they believe in uncovering the power of Morgoth.
yeah, I'm not sure 100% what they believe at this point. But I just do know that Adar's main goal probably is to get Mount Doom to erupt so that it
Mhm.
covers the entire area in smoke and ash, so the orcs have a
Black
place
off
to
the
live.
sun. Right.
Yeah.
No, you're right.
So I mean, because that's where they live in Lord of the Rings, so
Mhm.
you have to assume that that's where they're going to end up at some point. But yeah, I mean, we just didn't get enough of Adar either. If he's supposed to
Show
be
moved
at
too fast.
it moves too fast and then not at all.
Mhm.
It doesn't actually address. Well, this is exactly why they have 4 or 5 characters that are mystery characters. And by the virtue of the fact that they're mystery characters, they cannot have too much screen time because you might figure out what the mystery is. That's why we don't see the
Uh,
stranger very much. We don't see Halbrand very much. Oops.
hey,
Sorry.
no. Oh, no, that's some important information right there.
On purpose. But it's why we don't see the stranger very much. We don't see Halburn very much. We don't see Adar very much. And it's because these are the show has created these guys as mysterious characters. So if you have too much time with them, you might figure out they're not Sauron.
Mm-hmm.
But
You're right, Theo.
those are the interesting characters that we want to actually figure out. And the
You're
show,
right.
no, don't worry about it. We're going to give you 5 minutes of them.
You'll see them, but you won't learn anything.
Absolutely nothing. What have we learned about the stranger? That he can talk now. Even though Nori was trying to tell him about death, and she used the killing and then death. Why would somebody who doesn't know how to speak know the correlation between the two words? Yeah.
What we learned about the stranger actually in this episode is he's being hunted.
Mm-hmm.
By whom?
Yes.
You don't know?
By a very strange looking person.
I don't know what their pronouns are.
I don't know if they're human. I have no idea if they're human or elf or what. But a very severe looking face.
I don't think they're human because I don't think or the stranger is human.
Well, they certainly the other ones were human, but the main one that went down to the one that looks like Eminem. Yeah. That one doesn't look like a human as much to me, unless they're like a corrupted human. But yeah, I think the other ones are probably humans. But that's another thing that we get 1 second of, and
and I think I get what you're saying when you say the corrupted. I think when we saw the stranger do his little thing to scare away the wolves, which those are some interesting looking wolves. I think that utilizing their magic to some point, it corrupts them, like the dark side.
What?
Whatever their magic is. Like when we saw the stranger scare away the wolves, his hand had some level of necrosis, and I think that's that level of corruption we saw on its face.
I honestly think, man, I think all of that's serving as a red herring to make you think the stranger is Sauron. I really do.
Oh yeah, I still think that's it. Yeah, but I don't think that's who he is.
And I don't even think the show is going to tell you why that happens. I think it's just literally just to serve a purpose of making you think that that's Sauron.
I think the only thing that's going to be left to make that make sense in any way is, they're both powerful with magic.
Yeah. Well,
easy misconception. Anybody with power could understand.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know if you could. Yeah, I guess you could, but again, we don't get any information about the stranger. They're still on foot. They're still traveling quite a bit. It's quite a bit of traveling. There was a meme about the Lord of the Rings, and a lot of people critiqued it as a movie of a whole bunch of people walking. But at least they didn't have that song in the background because,
No, this song.
A song. So this is probably a good way to encapsulate why this show isn't working, because they have what's her name sing that song as the Harfoots are traveling. And the use of song is very important to Tolkien, and he actually has his own songs that he created for the books. But when you have a song in which the lyrics are "not all who wander are lost," which is basically a throw pillow for a basic woman, you're not really giving the same sort of quality to the songcraft that Tolkien did. Right. Like if you listen to even if you go watch The Hobbit right now and you listen to the dwarf songs and the Misty Mountain, that is a Tolkien song. This new rendition of whatever this lady was singing was just it was so modern that it felt out of place.
Okay.
So, yeah. Not all who wander are lost is literally a quote that somebody, puts on a pillow.
Now I understand. And that's what I'm saying. Like moments like that wouldn't correlate for me. I wouldn't be able to put that together.
I think you might, though, if you were just looking at it in the terms of modernity seeping into a medieval high fantasy.
from that,
because like
as far
even
as knowing the song, like to identify that that's not the actual lyric.
right, but I mean, even the lyrics are modern. Like you wouldn't if you listen to lyrics, they don't fit. Just like when Galadriel's training the Numenorians, who are supposed to be 8 feet tall and have crazy strength. When she's training the Numenorians, she says, "Come at me." "Come at me" is the Aardvark meme. The meme of the Aardvark standing up, or the anteater standing up on its 2 legs saying, "Come at me, bro."
Right.
Like nobody in medieval high fantasy would ever say,
Yeah,
"Come at me."
I agree.
So it's
She
these
could
little
at least say something like
anachronisms.
"come hither," which would have still been bullshit. But yeah,
Right. Or engage me. That
I'm
would have
riding
been the
with that.
perfect way to
Yeah,
say that.
I'd ride with that. That's funny.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's just these little like anachronisms that stand out where it's like, oh, a modern person wrote that.
Mhm.
And you can tell.
Someone who didn't do their research and isn't. I think that's something that we constantly note and catch. Whether you catch it, I catch it, someone else catches it. And it's too obvious nowadays when someone in the writing room is not a part of the belief system, like they don't
Mhm.
buy into the source material. You can
Right.
see it shows up in different ways, and I think that's one of those ways when you're doing period pieces and some of the writing just isn't there. It's like
Right.
somebody in the writing room didn't give a shit, and you have to be aware of that because that
Mhm.
person's gonna ruin it for somebody. Like even if, my opinion, just as someone who not only loves art but feels like I create a certain level, right? When you're creating anything for someone else that you believe is done well, the last thing you want to do or the last thing you're thinking of is, oh man, how is everybody gonna feel? But the moment someone points out that one thing that you just didn't think about, you're gonna eat yourself alive about it for the rest of ever. Like it's never gonna
Right.
go away.
Right. Well, that would be somebody who takes pride in their work, and I just don't know. Like this feels a lot like it's written by committee, and even the writing credits for the writers. Like these people haven't flagshipped a franchise before, and so it makes no sense to me that these people that wrote this show, it's $1 billion show, and Amazon couldn't find any better people to
Yeah.
run it.
How'd you get into that room?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many amazing directors and writers that would have loved to be a part of this. Why would you get some people who have barely any credits?
It's the same thing I said about House of the Dragon using the same theme song as Game of Thrones. At a certain point, we as the consumer are gonna question: are you being lazy, or is this literally just all you could give us? Is
Mhm.
this the max output of what was available to you, or you just didn't want to do any better?
Yeah. Yeah, and unfortunately, this is just not hitting anything interesting. I mean, I think the most interesting thing is the tableau of the elf versus the Balrog, which you get a couple
Mhm.
frames of, and that's just like a tableau that looks pretty. I would have been cool to have a flashback of the elf trying to, like store the Silmarils in the tree while the Balrog is coming at them, and they have this fight, and then the lightning hits the tree and infuses the mountain with mithril. You
Mhm.
could have actually shown us that instead of having it being this like, oh, this tableau of just one really pretty image that
You don't want to
isn't.
look at a tarot card on your screen?
Yeah, I mean, like, why would you waste such an interesting idea? And that's an idea that's actually coming from these creators, and it's not from Tolkien.
Oh
That
wow.
that mithril was created because an elf put a silmaril in a tree, and then it struck on fire and infused the. Like, yeah, it's a little hokey, but at least they're trying to be original with a concept and an
I'm
idea.
like,
But they wouldn't even show it.
yeah, I thought it was a little cheesy, but I liked it.
Yeah, and
I
that's
didn't,
okay
because you
if you
had
want
to
to be
find a way
cheesy,
to explain it,
right?
and I liked the use of good and evil to create this ore that's unknown, you know, with this unknown light and shine, and
Hmm.
that was pretty cool. Like I was like, all right, that's kind of weird,
Yeah.
excuse me, but I like it because it gives you something. It gives you the understanding of, that's why they would use this to make the rings of power.
Hmm. Right. Right. And yeah, so there's little bits of interestingness, and honestly, it really just comes out of Elrond and Durin. The only things that ever interest me are coming from those characters. So,
Yeah.
yeah, the Numenor plot is just dead on arrival for me. I cannot care about
You don't like
this.
you don't think Isildur is a cool character?
Oh, he's so annoying, bro, and he's going to become the king.
Really?
Isildur is, yeah, he's so Aragorn is the heir of Isildur. So Isildur was the line of kings. So at some point he's going to become a king.
Jeez.
Yeah. Which I'm like, oh, well, I don't like him. So
I guess so. Well, he's willing to do some things, so maybe him and old boy that he saved are gonna team up and become a political team in the future.
yeah. Oh, right,
Or
right.
political opponents, one of the two.
Yes, yes. I'm not going to tell the my father, who's the commander of the Queen's Guard, that I just caught this dude blowing up a ship.
Right.
2 ships.
Well, you know what? No, I think the reasoning behind that is he knows nobody would have believed him because he knows who that dude is. That dude knows who he is. They both know that both of their fathers hold high position. Nobody's gonna believe that the cousin of the queen's son was trying to blow up 2 of the fleet versus the fuck up.
I
Like
guess
Isildur
maybe
is the
he
sea
could put
guard
it
captain's
yeah,
son, but he's a fuck up.
right. I guess
So
yeah. They could
yeah.
probably put it on him, but that was according to my estimates, there were 5 ships. They were sending 500 men and 500 horses.
Mhm.
First off, those ships cannot fit 100 men
100
on
men
each
and
one.
100 horses.
Never going to happen. But
I don't
that's
think
that
100 horses can fit on one ship.
no, and like that assumes that because you blew up 2 of those ships, you just killed 200 horses.
Yeah,
because they were already
the
loaded
horses,
in the ship.
that I was just about to say the horses would have for sure been loaded already.
Yeah, so we just killed 200 horses.
And how much supply
no
did you
big
just
deal.
lose to still be going on this voyage all of a sudden?
Right. At least enough for 200 people. So now you have 500 people with only 300 people's supplies.
I'm just saying. Oh,
Yeah.
and don't forget, because he is the Farazan's son, more than likely he's gonna make sure he's not killing any of the Numenorians. I don't know if that's their name, but I'm running with it.
Mhm.
So he for sure would only blow up, say, fuel, ammo, food, the important
Right.
shit.
Yes, the important shit.
Because that's what's gonna make you stay. You got to get all of that. You got to recoup all of that. You can't leave without that.
Also, another just a minor nitpick. Halbrand would not be able to produce a mirror polish finish sword from fresh off of an anvil. That requires hours and hours of sanding by hand.
I say no one can give you a polished finish from slamming a hammer against steel.
Right.
Ask me how I know. Oh well, shit. I know how you know.
Just think about it. But yeah,
we all know. I
make,
think this is the funny part. You don't have to be some expert steel worker to know these kind of things.
Yeah.
I do think
go hit a knife with a hammer and see what happens.
That's it. I do think it was nice of them to show the quality of his work with the sheer cuts that had occurred when I don't know the name of the friend, but when the friend had cut Galadriel's arm. I liked that. I even liked the balance and the weight show that Halbrand gave on the back end of that when he picked it up with his foot, et cetera, et cetera. That was pretty cool. But to have the Smith look at it, as you were saying a moment ago, like, oh my God, this beautiful, like, all right, look, who did the polish work?
Yeah, right. Yeah. It is gorgeous. It's a gorgeous sword, but it is a stunning mirror polish. And he literally is taking it off the anvil. And and it has elvish runes in it. So yeah. I don't buy it.
And they didn't do designs with lasers back then, for the record.
I don't think that Halbrand knows how to make swords, but no, he does apparently.
I say I could believe if so. There's the moment where he's talking about telling Galadriel, "You have no clue what I've done. You don't know where I've been. You don't know basically you don't know my body."
Can anybody know? Can I know, please?
Can somebody know? Can they give us a flashback?
Know? Yes.
Can he know? I don't think he knows.
Maybe he doesn't.
Yeah. I have some hypotheses, but
Mm,
when he's telling her how much he doesn't know his body, she doesn't know his body. I think it was um, in that moment where I'm thinking there is a high probability that he could just be the embodiment of Sauron, like we were saying about 2 episodes ago. Like he
mm,
stepped foot back into Southland, and all of a sudden he burst into flames and because he's Sauron.
mhm.
Um, but the reason it made me think that was there's a probability or a possibility that if he is or was the embodiment of evil through the Southlands, through Morgoth, then yeah, he has extensive weapon knowledge, and
Yeah.
he's probably about as old as Galadriel, whether we know it or not.
I mean, if he's Sauron, he's older. Yeah. So, yeah, I can imagine that he would know how to create. That's not what I was getting at. I think that
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
it makes sense that Halbrand knows how to create stuff if he's Sauron. Yeah, for sure. I'm just saying that the show doesn't really know how to
Oh
how
yeah,
swords work. Um,
they
also
didn't
doesn't
explain it well, no.
also doesn't know how armor works because I know this is jumping, but do you want to Galadriel embarks and they finally leave on the boat? Did you see how she tried to shake Halbrand's hand? She like either the armor is so poorly made that she could barely lift her arm, or it was so heavy that she could barely lift her arm to shake his hand. If you go watch that scene again, she can lift it about 2 or 3 inches,
Oh wow,
and then Halbrand's got to come the rest of the way because she can't lift that.
I
So
never
the
thought about it that way.
the
Yeah.
armor design is either really bad or it's very heavy and she can't lift her entire arm up.
I'm thinking it less heavy, more so she couldn't extend too much further, or she would have ripped it. Something
Maybe,
of that
maybe.
nature.
Yeah, it could just be bad design that's impinging her ability to actually move like a normal human being.
Well, she's not a human; she is an elf.
An elf, yes, absolutely. But she
Also,
just looks so rigid in that armor. I think it was probably very uncomfortable.
right. Speaking of elves, I just want to keep in mind we still have yet to see Muriel's ears.
Right. We haven't seen Muriel's ears. Yeah. Yeah. And we haven't seen Eminem's ears either. So we'll have to see. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna get off the ears thing.
Why does that person look like that? Is that like CGI or do they really look like that?
I'm not sure. I'm guessing they put something on them to look like that. They didn't
I
look like
think
CGI.
for sure contacts because it's very bright blue eyes, but they have a very strange face.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's like something like I've never seen before.
So once again, they're doing a good job with the visuals. You say.
Absolutely. That absolutely. It was very novel. I have never seen a facial structure like that before. So well
Mhm.
done. Well done. Yeah.
So I like this sequence. Kim, damn it, what is Farazan's son's name? Kemen. Kemen tells his father, oh, I know you don't want to take orders from an elf, which pisses him off. And then he kind of reveals what we kind of already figured is that his real plan is that in order for everything to go well, they help the Southland. Now the Southland feels like they're indebted to Numenor, and Numenor basically runs the Southland. They have humans to help them overthrow the elves. Um, After that exact moment of him basically sunning his son, telling his son like, "Hey, chill out, don't play me with the whole elves giving you orders thing." You
Mhm.
see Muriel talking to her father, and her father tells her after before it seemed like he wanted her to go forth with this plan. Do not go to the Southlands. There's nothing there for you but darkness and death. Um, yeah. When that happened, I don't know. I don't know if I wanted this expedition to happen anymore because
There's no reason for it to happen. Let's
mm,
just be clear about that. It's just the show that needs Muriel to go with Galadriel. There
what
is no reason for Muriel to go with Galadriel.
well, no, there's no reason for her to actually go. But what I mean is, and I think what he's saying is like, don't send any soldiers or anything. I think what this entire show, as I'm coming to realize, might be about. It's about how did they find the Mithril, right?
Mhm.
We see that. And how did Sauron come back?
Mhm.
I think it's because of everything that Galadriel is doing. I think that's the whole point, is to show that Galadriel fucked everything up, and it's her fault that Sauron comes back.
I mean, like, the show is seriously hinting towards that, which makes me puzzled, because that would be such a harsh, like, tonal change for the show. I don't know if I would dislike it, since, I mean, I don't really like Galadriel all that much. But you're right. If Halbrand is Sauron, she will be responsible for putting Sauron back in power.
Mhm.
When in the books, Galadriel is one of the only entities in Middle Earth that sees through Sauron in his fair form. Yeah.
So that wouldn't make sense then.
I mean, if you want to go by the books, Galadriel, she's one of the few people that actually, because when Sauron comes to Middle Earth in his fair form as a human, everybody gets seduced by him, but Galadriel, like, takes one look at him and is like, nope, not following him. She knew right away. So I don't know why they would be going this route, because this makes Galadriel seem like an idiot.
I mean, it's more than one thing making her seem like an idiot.
That's true.
So let me think. The Muriel thing, the dinner with Elrond, Durin, and King Galgalad.
Mm-hmm.
Durin's an asshole, but he's funny.
Yeah, he is an asshole.
But yeah, I like Durin. I think Durin might officially be my favorite character, because he has some morals, integrity, and value. And even though he's a dickhead, he's the only one that seems to be fighting for anything real and tangible.
Yeah, and he at least seems like he's a good friend. You can't say that about Elrond anymore.
He wanted to be.
He wanted to be, but then he allowed himself to get used. And I love his non-omission about the secret. Gil-galad tells him, "Are you hiding something from me about Durin and what they found in Khazad-dûm?" He said, "The only thing I'm going to say is that I can't tell you the secret of Durin and the dwarves."
The dwarven people, bruh. So yes.
So yeah, there is something you're hiding.
Have they found the ore? I will not give up their secrets of the people in the deepest, darkest. Well, you must find the never oath. I will never tell of my oath to not tell you of what is in my pocket.
I know, man.
2 scenes later,
so
hey, Celebrimbor, look at this ore.
Yes, right.
I'm never going to break my oath. But hey, hold this.
Mm-hmm.
Idiot.
Yeah. Well, and Durin too, and this whole idea that this blight is, Mithril is the antidote to this blight is total bullshit.
I don't think the blight. I think the blight isn't natural. I think they placed it there.
I think so too, because even in the Third Age, which is thousands of years from now, the light of the elves is diminishing anyways. And what's funny is that they talk about, so this is what's kind of shady, and I wonder if they're going this direction. When Elrond tells Durin about the ultimate demise of the elves, he's talking about thousands of years from now.
Oh yeah, they're not dying anytime soon.
No, but he frames it like they're all going to perish. Well, actually, sorry, no. Celebrimbor says that all the elves are going to die by spring if they don't fix the blight. Oh, wow. Which is insane. Which is even
crazier, because you don't have to fix the life. Just go home.
Yeah, you could just sail west and you'll be totally fine.
Go home, get out a couple of 100 years at home, and then come back.
Yeah, exactly. Come back in the Third Age. I'm sure you'll be able to.
Recharge your battery. Clearly, that's all that's happening.
Yeah, I don't know. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense, this blight thing.
Elves.
Yeah.
So elves are colonizers. I think that's what we're gathering.
Well, certainly in this telling of it, yeah, because Arondir is set up as a colonist soldier, because he's there with the elves colonizing the Southlands.
That's true. Damn, I didn't think about that even when I said that.
Yeah. And so I guess that's what they're trying to say, is that the elves are basically like the police force of Middle Earth. And
right, I gathered that part already.
And so, we all know how people feel about law enforcement and stuff.
National
like that,
Elf Guard.
National Elf Guard. Yeah, exactly. So it would make sense that there are people who are resentful of that. And you see that in this episode. Again, I don't know why Bronwyn is the leader of all of these towns at the Watchtower.
Cause she a thug.
She's not. I don't understand. But they decide to split up, and half of them leave to go, pledge their allegiance to Adar instead of fighting. Again, like Arendir is a wood elf. I would assume he's from like Fangorn Forest or something like that, or like like the deep forest.
Mhm.
He could very well take those people to the elf lands and they would be fine. But the elves don't want humans in their lands. So,
So then he can't kind of take them.
Right. But, of course he can't. But yes, that's, like it's a very simple solution. The elves have sanctuaries where no orc can reach. So, yeah.
That's crazy.
Just put them in a watchtower, I guess.
I mean, I don't really know where to go with that because I was trying to figure that out too. When you realize that they're in front of the statue of Sauron, and that's why he's coming for the tower, because the tower is to there to God. Like, bruh.
Yeah, I know. Well, yeah. And I think, yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is the place, right?
So that doesn't make sense to me why they're
Mm-mm.
staying there specifically. But oh yeah, we talked about Isildur and the fleet and the blowing up of that already.
Mm-hmm.
He showed Celebrimbor the ore. Yeah, Halbrand trying to convince Galadriel that he was a bad man. Just I don't know, bro. I feel like
both
that
of them crying in that scene was so
for what?
dramatic.
Look, well,
Exactly.
him trying to convince her he was a bad man, and her comparing him being a bad man to her bloodlust.
Right. Yeah.
And
Right.
people feeling like her bloodlust makes her just like the enemy. That is not the same.
Yeah.
He just told her he got lost. After Morgoth was gone, when there was no more evil to control him, he was still of evil doings, and he was literally bringing ruin to his own people, essentially. She compared that shit to losing control. He did not say he lost control. He said he fell into his original nature.
Mm-hmm.
He's
Yeah.
literally out here fighting his actual nature. And he's like, if you're going to make me go against my nature, then give me a good reason. Oh, they went on mutiny against me because I had lost control in search of an enemy that wasn't there. Oh.
Give me one reason why once Halbrand gets a little bit more power, he wouldn't just kill Galadriel.
Dog shit out of Galadriel.
Right. Like, why would he do that?
In TV terms, but everybody, like the men, like the warriors that come up against him, he's gonna beat the dog shit. Like,
yeah,
I could see he's about to go on a killing rampage because he doesn't. I don't believe he suffers from bloodlust. I believe he might really have like this uncontrollable evil switch in him that he can't control. She, on the other hand, it's like going to war and killing is her checkers, or that's her favorite video game. You know what I mean?
Oh, you know what the pouch might be? It might be some amulet of protection that keeps him from being entered by Sauron. Like, so maybe he's a vessel for Sauron, and that pouch is like an amulet that protects him from Sauron going back into him.
That's possible.
Using him as a vessel.
That's possible. So
I mean,
Sauron goes into the pouch instead of going into him when he tries.
Or it just blocks Sauron from being able to inhabit his body. That's why he goes back for it.
Right. Oh yeah. Okay, because he definitely goes back for it after he acts like he doesn't want it. Right. I do like the moment where Wulfric had to kill Rowan to show his allegiance to Adar.
Oh, right.
That was dope.
Yeah.
That was dope.
Yeah, I didn't know what he thought it was going to happen. I mean,
I wish I had showed it.
Yeah, that's Benjen Stark, by the way. He's playing another undead character.
Another undead
from Game of Thrones.
Oh, Adar. Dope.
Adar is Benjen
Whoa.
Stark. Yeah,
That's crazy.
same
Until you
dude.
said it, it didn't even jump out. And then I just put the two in my head next to each other. I'm like, oh shoot,
They
I can
basically
see
have the
those.
same face, like
Yeah,
the same prosthetics and
same
everything.
build, same
Yeah,
everything.
yeah.
Except his yeah. When once he's the undead, yeah, it's almost the exact same. Damn.
Mhm.
So he's in both.
Yeah, he's in both
He
of
gets
them.
paid from both series. That's kind of fire.
Not bad.
I like
Not
that.
bad.
That's kind of good. Congratulations to him.
Yeah.
Um. So yeah, we again the people with Bronwyn and Arendir are at a monument to Sauron at the tower, which dumbasses.
Right.
Duh. But yeah, so once we get there, Elrond, we go back to find out that Elrond and Durin now they've agreed they're gonna go and get the ore because the fate of the Elvish people lies in my hands alone. Whose
Mm.
hands?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that was kind of weird.
Yeah, I think he likes it just because, dwarves hate elves anyways.
No, I know
So,
yeah,
yeah.
that. But if I'm Elrond, I'm not telling him that part.
Also, if I'm Durin, I'm not doing it either, though. I
I,
would say, I would
probably
say to
would.
them, "Oh, I'm so sorry. You guys, you mean that you guys are gonna have to deal with what everybody else in this world deals with and
Mortality.
die? Oh, when? Oh,
Go
I'm
home.
so sorry. Yeah. Oh, you mean you have an option and you can actually go to your immortality if you want to? You just want to stay here? Come
There's
on,
something
man.
for you at home. There's an
Right.
actual home to go to. That's your actual home, not this place that you. So who was here? Who was where the elves are now? Who'd they run out?
What do you mean?
Where the elves stay and on the west? That's not.
Yeah. I don't think they inhabited any humans. So the thing is that the elves came to Beleriand in Middle Earth before the humans. The humans are
Ah,
the third born, so it's the elves, and then the humans were supposed to be born, but one of the gods, Aule, creates dwarves secretly,
mhm.
and God confronts him about it, and he allows Aule to keep his dwarves, but they have to be born in the mountains, and they have to reside within the mountains.
Oh wow.
So yeah, it's kind of a cool little lore. So like the firstborn are the elves, and then the secondborn are supposed to be men. But Aule creates dwarves, and God is like, you weren't supposed to create anything. But once he sees how much Aule loves the dwarves, he's like, all right, you can have the dwarves, but they can't be born until after men. And so men are born, and then the dwarves are born.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. That's interesting. That
Yeah, but
that
that's all to say
is
that
interesting.
the places the elves inhabit in Middle Earth, they've inhabited for a very long time,
Mhm.
and it precedes the humans. The humans have different areas
The
that they
dwarves
inhabit.
of Middle Earth.
Right?
They live in the mountains, in the core,
Yes.
along the crust.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
my bad. So yeah, I don't know. Well, where were we? We were talking about.
And that's pretty much it, man.
No, that is pretty much it. After that, we just see Numenor getting ready to leave. We see Halbrand grabs his pouch and we see him all suited and booted and ready to go to battle. Which I don't know. That just rubbed me away because we were supposed to see him, the Queen Regent, and Galadriel have a discussion about everything, and instead we just
Oh
see him
yeah,
on the ship.
you're right. That is so
Yeah.
true. We were supposed to have a discussion about how they were going to convince him to go, and
hmm
they just glossed over that.
And I guess he just made his decision anyway. The
Oh,
one part I did like,
so bad. Oh
oh, it
my
was terrible.
god.
That was the
Wow.
ending was bad. The ending
That's
was
awful.
the only thing that saves the ending is the feel good moment of Isildur, even though he fucked it up for his boys. Um, him and his boys all getting their own way onto the guard and being part of the expedition. I
Yeah.
think that was pretty cool. But that's probably the coolest part is the Isildur story in this, and you explained to me why it's bullshit. So
Yeah, I mean Isildur shouldn't even be alive at this
Mhm.
point, and yeah, I don't and I don't even like him either because he's cheated his way into everything, and he's supposed to be a king. He's supposed to be a great king. And
uh, nobody
so,
knows of the transgressions of a king before the crown.
yeah, I
How
guess
many
so.
kings have killed and pillaged and to get to the crown, and then they get to the crown and they're a great man.
Mm. Yeah, I mean he does have an opportunity to give up the ring and he doesn't take it. So maybe they're trying to display the fact that he was never really a
A good
decent
man.
guy. Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair
Yeah.
enough. Yeah, but no, for the most part, that is everything. Celebrimbor is still a dick. Um, and I do appreciate. I will say that really quick. I do appreciate Celebrimbor's ability to remain consistent to his purpose and basically thinking to himself, "Screw Elrond and his friendship, bro. I got a purpose. It has nothing to do with you or the other elves for that matter."
Right.
And that's because, hey, what's going on, Big Mike? He made
Hey,
it,
Big Mike. Yeah. I hope you're ready for tomorrow.
right? Um, yeah, Celebrimbor, I do believe and I know that there is much more to him. I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop for him.
we
Or
have three. We have
with him.
3 more episodes,
Oh, it'll
and
be season 2.
I still don't even know what we're. Are we really climaxing at the battle with Adar?
Yes. Here's my
Oh,
question. How many seasons do you think this is going? Because I have a pretty good idea that we're getting at least 4.
they've already booked it for 5.
I thought it was 5 for sure, but we all know that
Mm,
they could book it for 5 and we'll still get 2 and they'll cancel this shit. So how many do you think we're gonna actually get?
here we go. Amazon, just redo this.
I think
Just
scrap this first 5 and yeah,
scrap it, and redo it. Get an
scrappy dappy do.
actual. Hey, get Peter Jackson back. You guys ignored his phone calls when he tried to say that he would give you advice for this show, and you guys said, "No, we're too good for that." Call Peter Jackson and maybe redo this because it. Come on, man.
That would be well done right there.
Yeah. I don't know where this is headed. Obviously, the battle with Adar, but Adar is sort of like a gray character, I'm assuming. And are we going to get any information about the stranger? Are we going to get any information about that? No.
No, unless we get one of these episodes are gonna be 2 hours for sure.
Ugh. They can't even do an hour well. I don't want this to be more
I
than
don't want to
an
watch
hour.
2 hours of this. I'd
No.
like for these episodes to be 30 minutes.
I mean, they deserve to be at this point. They're really not.
It's
I
only
mean,
30 minutes worth of information in them.
think about it this way: the last time Galadriel was in Middle Earth was episode 1. It's been
The last
4
time you saw
episodes.
Galadriel with another elf was episode 1.
Right. Exactly. That's that better way to say that.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah. Oh, I also um I forget whatever happened to, like, there was like a middle manager for the orcs. Whatever happened to him? Like the head orc before Adar, who was kind of in control of everything and was beating on all
Oh.
the elves, and like what happened to him?
Oh, he's not necessary anymore because Adar's here. So
Okay, I only
yeah,
thought
we
about
got
that
him.
when they all went there for the night scene. I expected him to be like, "Oh, we got fresh meat." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would have thought the humans turning themselves in would be his territory.
I honestly don't know. Like, what do you think? Pardon me. What do you think? What stories do you think are going to overlap into the next season? Obviously, the rings themselves are just not going to be made this season.
No, yeah, the
Um,
rings, the stranger, Farazan's overtake, um,
Halbrand probably,
yeah, Halbrand's purpose in general. Like, I don't even think we're gonna see Halbrand for the rest of the season. He's on the boat, but we're not gonna
or
see
maybe
much
he
of
gets
that.
crowned king of the South by the end of the season.
Oh yeah, that's probably gonna be one of the second to third last scenes. Yeah, it's gonna
Yeah.
end that way, and then we're just gonna see some sinister shit going down, but no explanation. Um, but yeah, I think those and the Harfoots.
God, what are they even there for?
Forgot about them.
Yeah.
I think there's like at least one more thing we're forgetting about, and just it'll come up in the next episode or two.
Well, all I have to say is I will look forward to the battle between the Harfoots and the Hobbits, a la Neanderthal and Homo erectus, because we know which one wins at the end. Uh, so we'll see. The Harfoots are gonna get decimated by the Hobbits.
Yeah, and that's why they're half their size.
Right, right. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't really have anything to look forward to, man. I just don't think that this is very good, which is a bummer. Because again, seeing that tableau with the Balrog and the elf just told me that there could have been a better story here. There
I mean,
could
we
have,
keep saying that.
yeah,
We keep saying that they're not. Their approach isn't terrible, but their execution is. It's a really nice form on that jump shot, but it's an air ball every fucking time.
yeah. It's certainly not hitting the rim in the least. Yeah, man. I don't know. Do you have anything else that you wanted to add about this one?
It's over.
It's over. Yeah, I mean, my enthusiasm is over. I mean, it was waning for the past few episodes, but I can say definitively, I'm going to finish the season for this show, and probably won't watch season 2. Yeah, yeah,
Unfortunately, I can't say I won't watch season 2 as of yet because I like to finish shit, but um, I can't say I'm like excited.
yeah.
Right now, for the first time in a long time, I'm watching 2 series that are giving me no. There's nothing there.
And Mike just said it. Hot D Rings of Power. Yeah. House
Yeah.
of the Dragon is not hitting in for me either. I know a lot of people like it, which is fine. I can see why people would like it, but it's not doing it for me either that much. But if I'm gonna have to choose one or the other, I would have to choose House of the Dragon at least right now, just because.
Hmm.
And that's only because I enjoyed the last episode of House of the Dragon. You know, and that was saying a lot. You
I
know?
put this the 2 episode 5s, I put on par with one another. Like they're damn near the same episode for me.
Yeah, yeah. It's such a mixed bag, man. I don't know. It's just not there. You're not catching lightning in the bottle. That's for sure.
Look, they dropped a match into some gasoline, but there was no flame.
Yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, it's just not hitting the way it should, which is a shame. But we'll see. 3 more episodes to go.
Let's see what they got.
Let's see what they got.
Yeah, so with that being said, that is the wrap of Rings of Power episode 5. We are parting the episode entitled Partings. Yeah, reason being, this shit is parting my boredom. I don't know, man. No,
Yeah,
you're
mine too.
right. Yeah, it's definitely parting something. But with that being said, we here on the Screen Time Continuum will continue to be here and cover it. Excitement to come from our Friday/Saturday episodes for our we're excited episodes. We're excited with the shot material for us to cover. And the same thing for I think tomorrow. Tune back in right here for us to tell you how we felt about episode 6 of House of the Dragons tomorrow. As today we just finished episode 5 of Rings of Power. Thank you guys. Be sure to check out some of our other shows. As I just told you, on Sunday, tomorrow, you can check out Screen Time Continuum. We're going to be right back here, House of the Dragons. You're going to have myself, Nick. Mike's going to be jumping in. Mike's over in the comment section for us right now, just tapping in, letting us know he's listening.
You said your audio cut out. I think it might have been my soundboard that was on me. Sorry. It might overtake the microphone, so I'll have to be aware of that next time.
Yeah. Yeah. Fair enough, and thank you for letting us know that, Mike. But definitely. So Sundays, be sure to jump over there, check us out for that. Mondays, take a break. Unless you don't hear us on Sundays, and then you know to expect us on Monday for House of the Dragon. Come on, guys, think about it. Duh. But on Tuesdays, go ahead and jump over to If Numbers Could Talk. I'll be over there to give you something Tuesdays at 8:30. On Wednesdays, right back here, Screen Time Continuum will be coming to you, giving you reviews and all kind of things that you'll definitely be enjoying. Stay tuned for that. Tuesdays and Thursdays, you can hop on over as well to Twitch and check out Strawberries and Coffee, where Dejan will be there giving you all kinds of great content, things for you to just reminisce upon or look forward to. Definitely check out Strawberries and Coffee on Twitch and YouTube. On Fridays, you jump on over to the ExoFathom. Now, again, right now, you have a plethora of things coming at you between Friday and Saturday. You have the ExoFathom, which is going to be hitting you Friday nights at 8 p.m. over on YouTube, Facebook, Rumble, Verbal. I feel like there were like one more that rhymed with that, but they were going really strong with those names. I don't know if you guys like that, but they are always over there giving you some really cool stuff. Just last night, they had an episode about Gremlins. So if you want to know more about Gremlins and not just what they showed you in the movie, check out the last episode of ExoFathom right there for you. YouTube, Facebook, all of the podcast places that you can think of. I promise they're probably going to be there for you. So just check it out on the places that you have and the apps you have. Saturday mornings, you can hop on over to This Merry Moment and check us out. That's myself and my wife. We'll be telling you guys all kind of cool things that are going on, and maybe not even cool things, but just interesting things where we talk to each other, maybe about each other. It really kind of depends on what we have going on. But yeah, so that's our lineup. That's our week. Hey, what's Mike over here talking about?
Yeah, come on, guys. Well, we have our first $200 super chat from Mike because he wrote super chat $200.
Yeah.
We'll take it, man. We'll take your $200 in type.
That's right. That's right. And that's how you pop up on super chat. So yeah, as far as everybody knows, you guys get it. Speak that, put that into existence for us, Mike. We appreciate it.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. But yeah.
So that is our wrap and round for episode 5. This episode of the Screen Time Continuum coming to you on Saturday. Be sure to come and check us out again tomorrow for our episode of the review for Hot D, The House of the Dragon, coming to you soon. For Screen Time Continuum, my name is Keelan.
And I am Nick.
And he is Nick.
I am.